Hello, my name is Asher Ahmed, and like many of you, I have a Netflix subscription. I didn't think it when I was signing for it, but could I be damaging the film industry by signing up for these websites? The future of film has vastly changed over the past few years, like it always has since the beginning of home entertainment. Today, millions of people use illegal sites like Potlocker, which are damaging the film industry. But how long has this been a problem? To answer these questions, we'll have to go back to the beginning. The first successful film reel was created in 1894 by the Lumiere brothers, used to show the first ever film. Although this format didn't use sound in the beginning, for the most part, could only be used in cinema. Do you go to the cinema?
I do.
How often?
Probably not so much in the last 6 months, but probably weekly before that.
Yes.
How often?
Probably like once every week or two, depending on what's out.
Yeah,
How often?
every week.
Yes.
How often do you go to the cinema?
Probably about once every 2-3 months.
Developments were made to make them smaller and able to use at home. In the year 1922, a 9.5mm format was created, allowing people to project films at home. Sound in cinema was introduced in 1952, but however, because of how complicated it wasn't really used at home. The film reel stopped being used in the 1970s. In 1975, Sony released a new type of format called Betamax. It was one of a kind, allowing people to take home movies and play them on their televisions. This was a big moment for film, as directors and writers could start making a lot more graphic films and not have to sell them to cinemas, instead sell them directly to their target audience at home. This helped make genres like horror a lot more gory. Like most video formats, this boom did not come without competition, and in 1979, JVC made VHS, which, funnily enough, could hold less data. In the 70s, the competition between both VHS and Betamax was quite evenly spread. Quickly the price of VHS dropped, and they started to become more popular with video rental store customers. However, this didn't mean much, as this is only 40% of the movies being sold. The 60%? Well, you dirty sods, that was from the porn industry. Yes, you heard me right, the porn industry started to use VHS, and people bought that up. This is yet another example of men thinking with their heads. You know what I mean? VHS were leading the market until the 1990s, when Laserdisc was popularised. This new piece of technology carved the way for future formats, as it was digital, and it was data being read off a disc. It's also worth noting that VHS tapes start to slowly decay after 7 or so years, so the advances in technology were very welcome at this point. The Laserdisc technology made companies like Sony and Philips create a similar format. They wanted a technology of a Laserdisc, but smaller, and created a format called DVD.
I think DVDs didn't really hit big until 2000, 2001. I could be wrong about that, but I remember going into a Best Buy one Christmas, and all of a sudden it was all DVDs instead of VHSs.
Although it took a few years to catch on, soon it overtook VHS and its main competition, Laserdisc. Do you still buy DVDs?
No, I've never bought DVDs in my life.
I am.
How often do you buy DVDs?
That depends. With DVDs, sometimes is on the music, but not very frequent.
No.
Yeah,
How often do you buy DVDs?
a lot. Every week.
Yeah, I do.
How often do you buy DVDs?
Probably more often than I watch Netflix. So.
During the beginning of DVDs becoming a thing, another factor in the future of film was born. Netflix, a one-of-a-kind DVD rental service that used a subscription model and was different to everything at the time, as it used the internet. It was basically a love film just in 1997, although it didn't see major success until the later 2000s. DVDs slowly took over VHS, with the price of their consoles going down and the ability to watch them on gaming consoles like the PS2. And in 2008, the final ever commercial VHS was sold. Around this time, two new formats had been created, HD DVD and Blu-ray. They were both formats offering high quality, both had very expensive players, but Sony had a very smart marketing technique. They made a game console that could play it and made it relatively cheap, knowing they'll make the money back on games sold for it. Meaning that people used Blu-ray instead of HD DVD as it was more cheaper and, in this case, more beneficial, and HD DVDs were discontinued in 2008. During this time, Netflix had not only become quite popular, it slowly ruined the video rental stores business, so Blockbuster started its own DVD rental service. Competition arose by the two quite quickly. To heat things up, Walmart then started its own service. They all strategically lowered their prices. This is called penetration pricing, and it's illegal in the UK. This is where two companies lower their prices, so one of them is basically at a loss and has to stop doing it. Walmart had the lowest price and Netflix had the highest at this point. However, Walmart couldn't continue, so they sold their customers to Netflix. After time, Netflix became more popular than Blockbuster's online service, and that service soon stopped after, leaving Netflix as the victor. Shortly after this, in 2007, Netflix changed its model again, this time even more revolutionary. Now they've started streaming movies online. So, do you feel like sites like Netflix are taking that kind of part of video away from our society?
Yeah, I think. Let me think about that. I think a lot of the streaming websites that are out there. You know, YouTube had a big part of this, but it's just evolution. I mean, you really can't blame anybody. It's just things have to change over time. Mm-hmm. So, and you have YouTube, you have Amazon, Netflix. Netflix was probably the big first one, but I think what's happened is it's changed our way of watching things. I mean, I can tell you from first-hand experience, I watch movies on Netflix that I would never pick up in the video store and rent because it's just there. It's like something to take a break from work, or just because I was like, oh, I always wanted to see that. And what happens is, as a result, I don't remember any of the titles of the movies that I watch, and I'm always like, maybe I saw that. But working at the video store or going into a video store, my experience was I was much more invested in the titles. So I would pick it up, I'd look at the movie, I would really get sort of, like I said, get invested and make a decision. Do I want to buy this movie? Do I want to have to come back in 3 days and return it? And I would actually remember the titles and I'd really appreciate the film. I also would feel really ripped off if I didn't like the film too. But that was sort of part of the gamble and part of the fun. So I think it's affected our viewing habits in a way that we probably never expected. And but there are some positives. I think there are positives with streaming services because it allows for distribution of a lot of filmmakers and producers. I mean, I get to have my stuff seen by more people as a result of YouTube, as a result of Amazon and Hulu and Netflix. So that's the positive. That's just the way it goes. I mean, more people get to see your work, but you don't get to have the small town video store anymore.
As a director, what's your opinion on Netflix? Like, what's your opinion on the way it's changing the industry, and is it positive?
My opinion on Netflix is I do think it's positive overall. It's fine. It's great. It allows for more people to see stuff. The way I sort of see Netflix is it's television now. If you can get your stuff on Netflix, then you're gold. Golden. It's then people can find it. It's one of those things. It's like, oh, it's on one of the networks on television. Oh, it's on Netflix. I mean, it's just everybody's going to see it. It also makes your work maybe slightly more legitimate because you're distributed on Netflix. But that's going to change too. I mean, Netflix has a lot of competition out there. You have Amazon Prime, which is coming up at the same rate that Netflix has in the past, and Hulu. I mean, they all have their reputation for different services. So, Netflix is not going to be what it is now in a few years. There's going to be a ton of other services like it. But I think it's positive. I do think it's fine. It's absolutely fine. And as a filmmaker, I want my work on Netflix.
That kind of brings me on to my next point. It says on your website that you have your work is on Amazon and you put it on DVDs. What would you rather people watch your work on? Would you rather them have like
DVD versus streaming?
Yeah, like the physical copy or be able to click it?
What do I prefer? I prefer people just watch my work, whether it's through streaming or through DVD. I really don't have a preference. I think it's cool if they make the point to go buy the DVD. For Video World, for example, there were some people that I grew up with who actually went and ordered it online on Amazon and got the DVD because I think they wanted to have that experience. They wanted like the documentary about their hometown video store in their house, as opposed to it being a file that gets lost on a hard drive somewhere. So I'm okay with both. I really am, because different generations watch things different ways. I'm not gonna say everyone should go out and buy my DVD. And quite honestly, DVD, the quality of video on DVD is not as high as quality as the video on a download. I mean, you can DVD, old school DVD is not HD video, but a downloadable video from iTunes or from wherever is HD, or can be.
However, they couldn't get very popular titles on it. Do you use Netflix?
I don't at the moment, no. I used to.
Netflix, no.
No.
Yes, I do.
How often?
Every day.
Yes, I do.
How often?
Probably about once a month.
As Netflix grew, another system arose. Illegal streaming. However, this wasn't the first time people illegally watched movies. People used to burn DVDs and sell them in kebab shops, but now it's easier and have titles that are even in cinema.
So you're on the internet, and you somehow find yourself on an illegal streaming site, and you find your work. As a director, what do you feel as you've seen your work be kind of stolen from you?
Okay, so if I stumbled upon an illegal downloading site like a torrent, a BitTorrent,
Potlocker,
Yeah, okay.
that type of site.
Okay. I don't support those sites, those networks that steal videos and redistribute them. As a filmmaker, I'm happy people want to see it and they're sharing it, but they don't understand that's my job. Or they forget maybe that's my job, or they don't care that it's my job and that's how I make my money and pay my bills. So the more times that happens, the less of an income I get. And especially in documentary filmmaking, you don't make a lot of money. It's just they're hard projects to put together and they take a long time. So it's not an ideal business model compared to some other projects or businesses. So we're losing money every time. I mean, it's happened. I've worked on web series where I've watched the videos get stolen. They get ripped and they're uploaded to other sites, and I'm like, those are a couple 100,000 views over there on that site that we don't get over on YouTube or somewhere else. But at the same time, I also know that serves as a form of promotion, so I'm okay with that.
So you're fine with it, even though my question that you kind of answered it again was what do you feel about, like, you're getting just as many views there, or maybe a bit less or a bit more, as you are on your paying format?
Right. No, I'd say I'm not okay with the illegal download sites. I'm not okay with those. I don't support those. I don't use them because I've been on the the receiving end of that, where it does affect me. So, what's exactly your question?
It was more, what do you feel about it kind of being equal? You're getting just as many on there as on YouTube.
No, so I guess it depends on who you are as a filmmaker. For me, speaking personally, I'm still trying to get my work out there and trying to build a name for myself. So I do look at it as a form of promotion. I'm happy people can sort of watch my work. If they find it somewhere else and they decide to go buy more of my work, then that's great. But if they end up just watching it for free and moving on, that's not great. So I'm really on the fence. I'm not giving you a straight answer. And I guess my answer would be, no, I don't prefer the stolen views from somewhere else. Or stolen downloads. I prefer having the downloads, benefit me as a filmmaker so that I can keep making more films. That's the problem. If I don't make a profit on my past projects, I can't make more projects. That's just the way it goes. So I don't like to see my videos get uploaded by other users. I'm okay with like clips, trailers. That's all a form of promotion. But when it's the entire film, it's not great.
Illegal streaming sites aren't just ruining the streaming service, it's also ruining cinema too. People are able to watch films illegally online because of how this works. Cool. Do you use like illegal streaming sites like Putlocker?
No, I don't use Spotlocker now.
Extremely.
Illegal like Putlocker. So like you'll type in free movies online and you'll
I
click.
don't.
Yes.
How often do you use them?
At least once a week.
No.
You can say yes.
Yes.
Sweet. And how often?
I don't know. Whenever I need to, I don't know.
No.
Okay. The streaming online phase, legally and illegally, may be a cause of the collapse of video rental stores.
Probably about 10,000, 12,000 people in that town when I lived there. So there were probably, you'd probably get a couple hundred rentals a day, and then on the weekend, maybe 2 or 3 times that, maybe more. On the holidays, it was always a ton. New Year's Eve was the busiest day of the year.
Oh, nice. So
And snowstorms. Whenever it snowed, the store was packed.
People could stream movies instantly and not need to take them back and pay late fees, regardless of it being easier. Some of my favourite movies I watched while I was renting them, and some of my favourite moments happened in video rental stores, and it's upsetting. In 2013, Netflix changes again. It now become more than just a streaming site. It now makes original series, and during this time it had picked up competition from sites like Amazon, both making original content, both streaming big feature films. This brings it up to now. No one can say for sure what's going to happen in the future, but we sure can guess.
Oh, I have one more. And how do you think we'll be watching films in the future? Just
I'll be watching films in the future. I'm not very good at predicting the future. I would say friends of mine have told me that it would be the way it is now, which is you can watch the internet on your TV. I mean, I just got Apple TV recently, and it's an amazing experience to be able to watch things on the big screen. But I think in the future, I really can't see past what it is now. I kind of feel like, it's going to be the same. But how can it be? It's changed so much in the last 10 years. So what would be a good answer for that besides that? What do you think?
I think with TV subscriptions going down and 81 million people using Netflix alone, there will be more of a demand for TVs to be fit with Wi-Fi and to connect to sites like Netflix or Amazon Instant Player. And unlike the past, where there's going to be a winner in competition, it's going to be a compromise. We're going to want to use Netflix, and we're going to want to use Amazon Instant Video Player, but we're also going to use different sites because there's also a demand for more people to join this ship, and streaming is the future of home entertainment. What I think will happen is the law on illegal streaming sites will get tighter, and it won't just be the owners of the websites getting treated as criminals, it will also be the consumer. Well, thanks for watching. I've been Asher Ahmed, and I'll see you another time, possibly on a streaming site.